Okay. This is Blake,
And this is Joyce.
and welcome
And
to
welcome to Savagely
Savagely Scale.
Scale.
She's so used to saying, and this is Joycey, because when I'm the second person, I go, and Blake.
That's so true. It's just weird. It's off.
But
It's
welcome back,
okay.
everybody. This one we're actually doing, as you can see, not together. I feel like I've had a very long first week of June, and I'm gonna have an even longer second week of June. So I was like, Joycey, I don't think I can make it to your house.
That's fair. 100% valid. I can't
Yeah.
believe we're already a week in June. That's crazy.
I know, and we're gonna get into, like, a second week, and I'm like, gosh, it just, like, goes by so fast, and it's already 6 months into the year,
Yeah.
and then I have
Wild.
a kid who's gonna be 7. It's just crazy, and I mean, this week was really busy, but really fun, you know? But anyways, it's not about me and the week, it's actually about Joycey. Today, we're flipping the script a little bit and putting Joycey in the interview
In the hot
spot.
seat.
Yep, because she recently competed at the NCC, and we're going to talk all about her experience. And I'm
Yeah.
excited to hear about that and
Oh,
everything.
girl.
So
I got so much. So much.
But like first, what does NCC stand for?
NCC stands for the Northern California Classic, and their slogan is the best in the West. So I thought it was I didn't know that, but when I went to the comp, they were promoting it everywhere, and I was like, ooh.
Girl, that's what so in cheerleading for competitive, nowadays it's just they do, I think, more of a dance at the end, but you used to have to like dance and do a cheer for All-Stars. And every team that was California based, you would hear in their cheer the best in the West because of the
No
West
way.
Coast. So you heard that everywhere. So
You're like, I've heard it, girl.
I mean, I've already heard that, but good for them that they're still having that. It's more of a Southern California thing. I feel it's better, best in the West, South, coast or Southern California.
Right.
Those Northerners up there.
Facts. Yeah, and it was in Sacramento, California, so it makes sense, I suppose. But it is like a 3-day competition. And it was in Discovery Park this year. And it was pretty warm. I'd say it was like everyone was pretty much wearing shorts because it was just pretty hot. And I think it rained the Thursday before the comp, so some of like the floors were a little like the dirt was a little muddy. Some of the floors had to be cleaned up because they were a little slippery. But it did take place from May 29th through June the 1st. Or sorry, the 31st. But yeah, it was a series of 6 workouts, and I think the elite had to do a 7th. But that wasn't me, so I only had to do 6.
But before all that, like, how did you first hear about it?
Well, actually, Joe was the person who, I guess, showed me what the NCC was, and he had, I think, gone the last 2 years, so he was pretty much going out to, like, try out for this year. And apparently you have to try out for it. Like, I didn't know that was a requirement, but you have to, like, do workouts. I think it's the same, like, 6 workouts. You have to submit
qualify
videos.
it. Yeah. You have to qualify for it.
I think we spoke about it in the podcast before how we kind of prepared for that and did videos and kind of, had to show standards, things like that. So I did have to submit videos on YouTube for it. And then like everyone else who I was invited to attend, I think they picked the top 50 in like the novice, the scaled, the intermediate, and the RX divisions. And so they picked the top 50 based on the videos you submit. And we were able to make it. I forgot what place I got in total. I think it was like 18th or something. Honestly, I don't remember. But we did pretty okay. And then we got the invitation to go. It was a little pricey because I think tickets were like in the 400 or 450 range. So I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's pretty
because I remember
expensive.
like qualifiers was just like $25 because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that seems like fun just to see to qualify. And then I was
Right.
like, oh my gosh, because I think I looked and saw that you were qualified before you got the email because I kept asking you every day if you got the email.
Yeah.
I saw your place. And then I was like, oh, I wonder how much it is to go. And I was like, $500.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, that's a lot of money. But at the same
like
time,
expected that for like the elite, but I guess you guys are also having the same setup, the same like you're gonna have to have volunteers for judging. You're gonna have to have
yeah.
the higher ups there. I just didn't realize like semifinals was like equivalent to going to the games. Like punching your ticket
Mhm.
for the games as an elite person, like, that you guys would also be paying the same as elite,
It was
which,
pretty
like,
up there.
put in
Yeah.
perspective of, like, how people are trying to compete and have to save to do these things because, like, even when I was thinking about it, like, my weightlifting meets that I've been to have not been that much
Expensive.
to go there. Now to,
Mhm.
like, get an Airbnb and food, and one was flying, one was driving, like, that's what it
Ugh.
costs, but when you qualify for NCC, there's probably people who flew also you flew, even though it's, like, a
Mhm.
quick flight, but it's a long drive, so it's, like, wear and tear on your car or flying,
Mhm.
and, like, that really put it into perspective when I, like, had to ask you about that of, like, even us, normal folk who are not competing against the elite, skilled people still have to pay the same.
Yep, exactly. So it was
Yep.
that, and like you said, an Airbnb, and then travel to the event. But it was crazy because I even saw athletes from like different countries participate. I think I met someone in the warm up area who was from, I think she was from China. And
Oh,
I was just
wow.
like, whoa, you came out all the way out here to do this? Like, that's crazy. And she was great.
Yeah.
She was a great lifter. I think she was in the RX division. So I think she was trying to kind of place. But I was just like, wow, this is actually more serious than I thought. I thought it was more like, I guess the only exposure I've ever had to competitions were like smaller scale. So going
Mhm.
to that, I was just like, oh, there's people from all parts and different states and, different countries coming to compete in this. So I took it a bit more like, oh man, I guess this is where the $500 comes into play. And then they did announce in the briefing that all the judges were like professional judges, like the ones that they use for the game. So it was kind of cool to know that I was getting the experience of like an actual judge that's judged like big time events like that. So it was interesting to see kind of the difference of how that works. They felt like a dance. Like they were all on point. They were very in
Yeah.
sync. Every time they'd go to the athletes, they all did the same steps and moves and procedures. And I was just like, wow, it really does look very professionally done. So everything just seemed very top tier professionally done. I would imagine in the cost, you also get all the perks like the free t-shirts. They were giving out free water bottles, free pre-workout. Like every athlete got like free fit aid for the whole day. They had like
Mhm.
electrolyte drinks that you got access to.
Sorry.
They had ice baths. They had like on-site massage therapists. So they had a lot of, I guess, perks that I would say come into the $500. But yes, when I got the invitation, I was like, $500? Like, that's crazy. But also, when am I going to have an opportunity to do something like this again? And I already put in, I guess, the videos and the time and, the commitment to qualify. So why would I not try? But
Yeah.
I can't see how it can be a deterring thing for people who might not have the funds to participate. Like, I get that.
And then what was your, like, mindset going into individuals versus, like, a duo and your competition level? Like, what were
Um,
you thinking about for that?
I thought going into it, I was like, "Oh, skilled, I got this, like, the weights aren't that bad, like, it's doable."
Mhm.
And compared to, like, a partner workout, I felt like no matter what we're facing, like, I was like, "We're gonna make it work because it's 2 people," versus when it's just me, there were moments where I was kinda like, "Oh, man, that's one of my weak points," versus when I have a partner who can complement those weak points, like, how am I gonna work around that, or work
Mhm.
through it? So, for example, a lot of the gymnastic stuff's like, I think the toaster bar were something that really got to me, where, like, if I had you or somebody as a partner, you could have probably taken the bulk of that work and I could have done everything else, but because of that, like, I had to, like, compensate and work in a more smart way around a workout just to kinda
Yeah.
make sure that I was enhancing the parts that I'm really well at executing, and then that I was just taking my time on the ones that I wasn't. So it was a lot of that, and then also just being able to, like, determine on my own, like, when do I have to warm up? When do I have to take my pre-workout? When do I have to do all of this? Before, when I had someone with me, we would do it together, so it felt like I would rely on that person to decide. And this time I had to be kind of like on it on my own. And Joe was very helpful because he kind of gave me some things to do beforehand or said maybe we should start warming up, things like that. So he gave me cues. But going into it, at some point, I think the first day, I was like, okay, these are great workouts for me. Let's do it. And then once I got to the second day, I'm like, okay, this is really hard. And these are going to be workouts that I'm not good at. If I had a partner, I feel like I wouldn't have been so much in my head. They would have been like, okay, we're going to do this. And I would rely on them for that
Yeah.
motivation, I feel. And when you do it as an individual, I feel like you have to self motivate a lot. And yeah, I had people around me who I met and we became friends and things like that. But it's very different when you're kind of on your own and you have to find your, like, I guess, your own way of pepping you up, I suppose, when you don't have like your coach or your own gym or people like that. So it was interesting to kind of work through those mind games on my own. I felt was the biggest
Mhm.
thing. Like I'd break down myself a lot and I'd be like, oh, this is gonna be really hard. It's toast bar, it's this, or it's the lift, and I'm not really strong at it. Like I was in my head a lot, I feel. But when I have a partner, I feel like they're very good at complimenting against that. So that was one of the hard parts too.
That is crazy because I feel like I'm the opposite.
You are. You're like, let's do this lift. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm like, "I got this," and, like,
Maybe it was
if
the
I'm
nerves.
with somebody, I get more, like I love competing with somebody, but, like, if they're I don't know, if they're not wanting to do it for fun, like, and they're very competitive, I go into, like, "Oh my gosh," like, I don't wanna let them down because these are my strengths and here's their strengths, and, like, looking at a competition of, like, "Okay, here's my threshold, here's your threshold." So I get very in unless they're like, "Oh, I don't like how to say this is like
It's
meaning,
hard.
I guess, partners that I'm just like, I'm more of their cheerleader and we're doing it
Maybe I'm
compared
so
to
codependent with you. Oh my gosh. No,
yeah.
just kidding. So toxic.
And then I'm like, when I'm on my own, I was like, I only have myself to like either lift myself up or
Uh-huh.
in the end, like myself to blame to not push myself. So then I
Right.
end up just like doing it and being like, okay. But like I said, like I also look to like who's around me and try to figure out, okay, who's in what spot. But it's completely different from like your first day because you don't know who's in technically one who's who
Right.
and then who's in what spot and things like that. It's very hard because even like when I was trying to look up online from your first day to your second day, they only had last year's names up.
It was, yeah, working the app
Because
was
I
really
would like look
difficult.
for your name and I'd put your name in and everything and it wouldn't come up. And I was like, I know she even qualified or gave me your qualifying standings. And I'm like,
Right.
no, this is says qualifier. Like I tried to look up everything online because people were asking me. I was like, I don't know. She's just doing her thing. I'm checking in with her. I'm trying to figure out online, but nothing's showing me online. It just keeps giving me qualifiers. So
Aw. Also, it was
yeah.
so sweet how you kind of, I know you totally ran the whole video with the whole High Rocks team and the posts and everything. So I thought it was very sweet for
Yeah.
you and the entire gym to have sent that message. Every time someone mentioned it in class since I've been back, I'm like, guys, you have no idea what a great time I received that video because that was by day 2. And that was like right before like my first workout that day. And I was already feeling so defeated because the first day I was like, I am so sore. I am hurting. Like, how am I going to survive the next 2 days? And that video just kind of pepped me up. And I was like, oh my God, tear, tear. And I was like, okay, we got this. Again, very codependent, probably not very healthy, but it
No,
was it
cause
was
like,
super helpful.
when I, like, lifted and I would get, like, your guys' little videos or people from the gym just texting me, like, it really,
Hmm.
like it does help you to just, like, quiet your mind compared to, like, when you don't have, like, your support system there of the gym, like you said, like, your mind can go everywhere, and, like, Joe's awesome, but Joe doesn't work out with you every day, so, like, his pointers are just, like, really good pointers, they can be. I wasn't there, but there just comes a point to like if somebody who saw you every day and being like, okay, I mean, I knew when I first like when you text and you're like, well, I did this, but it's okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's completely down on herself. And I was like, I should just like message Joe and be like, okay, you need to fix this.
No, you did
And
an amazing job.
yeah, so and I know, like, he would, so I was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna message him because he's gonna do the best that he can, like, he's very supportive with you."
Hmm.
So, I was just, like, trying to be the friend who's like, "No, you're doing amazing." I was like and I'd be like, "She's gonna be doing amazing, just keep checking in with her. This is your
Right? Yeah,
first competition."
he was definitely my main cheerleader for sure and took all the videos as well. So he helped. I was like, we need to help the gym stay caught up on what's going on. And he was very good at that. And he was very diligent on making sure I was eating because I know that you notice like it's very like I just miss stuff or eat too little or things. He's like, you need to eat again. And I was like, okay. So he was very diligent on me, which was great because I get distracted. I was like, oh, massage is here. We're going on here. He's like, no, we should get something to eat. And I'm like, okay. So
Yeah.
he
I
did a
had
really
talked
good
to
job with
Dave
that.
and I was like, "The only thing I'm worried about is her eating. I really
He
need
did
her to
message me
eat."
on that too.
I was like, I
He's
really
like,
need her to eat, like, a good meal of, like, even, like, chicken and rice, just, like, some chicken, a breast, and some rice. That's all I need you to do. But I was like, she already knows what I told her to do. It's
you
up to
did, I
her if she
did.
does
I
it.
thought about you. I was like, get the protein cottage cheese, give me the freaking chicken. So yeah, we did pretty well on that front for sure, I would say. But I feel like with every competition or everything that's new, you just kind of do your best and you're like, just hope for the best at that point.
Well, like, also, like, when people are asking, like, "How is she doing?" I was like, I think for me as your friend, I was like, what she can do from this is she's doing amazing anyways, from qualifying to going to do it and then doing these competitions back to back, 'cause you've never done that, you
No.
know, and that hard, I'm like, the best thing that she's gonna do is take away what were her pros, what were her cons, and how she's gonna dial it in for next year if 'cause
Hmm.
at that point, I was like, if she wants to do it next year. 'Cause you could have just been like, I might just, like, l
That was
I
awful.
yeah, but I was like, she's probably gonna wanna do it next year. She's gotta figure out what the pros and cons are, just like we did for qualifying, what the pros
Hmm.
were and what we can do better. But I was like, when she comes back, I'm gonna make sure she knows that these are, like, learning expectations. Nothing should be Joyce's fault. Nothing was bad about your performance other than if you thought it, but you have to take every aspect of that and what did I learn from it? Not, well, I just it's no, what did you learn from it? Oh yeah, I probably could have just during this time eaten a little bit more of this. During this time, stretched more because that's what you're doing. You're learning.
Yeah.
Because again, you've never done this before.
Oh no,
So
girl.
there's
That's
no I shouldn't say there's no cons because to me, with your first time doing it, there shouldn't be. There should just be happy learning experiences with it.
100%. I feel like
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened. Like at first, and you already know me, like I went in there with the competitive spirit, like I'm gonna go hard and do my
Yeah.
best. And I mean, it was great. Like it pushed me through the first event, which was one of the roughest ones. It was like I think 40, 30, 20, 10 of thrusters. And then in between each set of thrusters was like 5 ring pull-ups. And I was just like, this one's gonna hurt. And I had, I think, 12 minutes to do it all. And I did finish it. But I was so dead after. Like I was just like it chewed me up and spit me out because I think later that day I had a headache and I was like that I took it out on that workout. Like I gave it all I got and I really wanted to finish. And I think I had like 10 seconds left to finish my last 5 thrusters. Like I was on the cusp.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I don't finish this, I'm gonna be so upset at myself. So I pushed myself, but it hurt. And that's when I was like, this is gonna be difficult. If this is day one, like I can only imagine how day 2 and 3 are gonna feel. And then by the next day, I was so hurt in terms of soreness that I was just like, I'm gonna need to stretch and warm up like way before the event because it feels awful. And I think day 2 was when we had the heavy lift.
Mhm.
And so I knew it wasn't going to be a strong workout for me because I'm not the greatest lifter. And I would say that by day 2, after everything happened, the lift and the, I guess, third workout, I was just like, I just need to survive for the third day. I was already, I wouldn't say tapped out, but my body was talking to me. My right knee was kind of like, girl, what's happening? And then I think day 3, we had a lunge workout. And I was just like, I don't know how my knee's going to do it. So honestly, the last day was just a matter of like, I just need to survive. I need to
Mm.
put on my knee sleeves and I need to get through this whole NCC event because I can't not finish was kind of the mindset I was at, even though my knee was really hurting. So I think, like you mentioned, I went in with like a competitive spirit, which was great, but I did get a reality check by day 2. And then by the time I got to day 2 and 3, I was like, you know what? Just take this as a learning experience.
Yeah.
We know the things we need to work on. We're 35 and our body's going to feel it a little bit sooner than we thought or before. So we're a little more mindful of that now, girl. So I think this year I'm just like, okay, I know where I failed. I know, and I already knew this. Toes to bar was one of the things. Weightlifting was another one of the things that came up. And I was surprised that I was able to do the ring pull-ups pretty well. So I was like, okay, I might be pretty solid with the pull-up part. But those were probably the 2 biggest things that I was like, I really need to work on that. And then my running, because there was a running event and a sprinting event. And it was not, it was an okay event for me, but I feel like I could have done better there just because it was a cardio event and I expected to do a little bit better. But those were probably the top 3 weaknesses I discovered: toes to bar, weightlifting, and running. But like I said, started the week off strong, slowly started realizing where I'm at. And just by the end of it, I was like, this was fun. I do want to do it again, but there's some things we need to be mindful of and work on. So that was kind of the mindset and journey of Joyce's mind throughout the whole weekend. That's kind of how we flowed, but very
Which isn't
grateful.
bad. I was just like, Okay, hopefully she's not gonna be like, "Well, I suck because I'm not in, like, top 10 or I'm not number 1." Because I was like, I know Joycey is always
I
needs
did
to.
want top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, there and who doesn't? And as your friend, I was like, if
Of course you
the
want that.
stars align and there's these amazing workouts that my friend can do, you can do it. And like to me, like the second workout, I was like, oh, that's her workout. But again, I wasn't there for your first workout. You let me know
Right.
like when you were finished, but like knowing if you were dead or not, like impacts the rest of the workouts. Cause even when I was
Mhm.
talking to a couple of people and I was like, well, here's the second workout where I'm a little bit iffy about her first one, but she can do everything in it. And I was even explaining the workouts, a few of the people I talked to were just like, "Oh, that's her workout." And I was like, "I know that's her workout. It's just the second workout." And so it's putting all that into line, but like leading up to once you qualified, did you change any preparations like for the event, like training wise or nutrition wise or mobility wise? Or are you planning on doing that now, seeing some of those things are important, like leading up the few months to it?
Would say I definitely did. Like, I know overhead squats was a big one, and I felt very confident that it would be in the workout, or I guess in the competition. It was not. They did have an over squats, I guess, squat snatch, but that was only the elite, so I didn't have to do that. So I was kind of bummed out about that because I was training really hard for overhead squats, and they kind of teased because they did have an overhead squat clinic at the NCC, but they didn't have it in the workout. So I was kind of like, huh, they got me on that one. So I was kind of upset about that. And then I didn't really expect there to be toaster bar, if I'm honest with you. I was like, that's not a very scaled thing to do, I thought, but they did put toaster bar, and I was like, I should have worked a little harder on those. In my defense, the warm-up rig was totally worked well with my grips. Once I got into the competition floor, that was a slippery rig, and I was like, this is not going to be an easy 20 toaster bar. So that
And
was
I
one
think
thing.
though, like, you're not giving yourself that much credit because you have been working very diligently on your toes to bar.
I have, yeah.
And even like leading up, I know there was a week or the week of where you had taken a noon class and there was toes to bar, and even like
Hmm.
Chris was giving you pointers and things like that. And I think it just like leads up to like, when is that workout? And,
Right.
always being prepared for the unknown in,
True.
like, CrossFit competition, because there are gonna be where, like, you are scaled, but there's gonna be some movements, like, I'm sure tons of people have never ever done ring pull-ups, and they're like, "This is scaled?"
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
where you have those still kind of, like, leading back to the open of it's gonna get harder, or it's gonna have one portion of it where you're like, "Oh, that with that is might take me out."
Yep.
So give yourself some credit though, because you have been working very hard, and this year was very good with how you
That's
were
true.
putting toes to bar together, working on your pull-ups, working on those things.
Facts.
It
So
just
that was
depends
another
on
one.
where it is in the workout and how your
Girl, it was
body
day
is.
3. Yeah, it
See?
was day 3, guys. But I tried. I tried. And then what else? I felt like everything else, like in terms of just like the weight that we were doing, like for the deadlifts, I think it was like 155. I was like, I felt like I was really prepared for the kind of weight that was in the competition in terms of like,
Yeah.
the thruster weight, I think was 65. We did have some cleans at 105 and 135. And I was like, I definitely feel like compared to last year, I'm able to lift a little bit more than what I did. And I did hit a 15-pound PR in my clean. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, so there's definitely some progress there. So I was proud of that. I just need to work on my jerk is the tip I got. And I was like, that's fair. Oh, I went in there with some strong things, I guess some skills that really showed up. And then lunges were one of my strengths too. And I feel like I killed that lunge workout when a lot of the girls were just dying halfway through the 100 meters. I was like, pra, pra, pra. I'm like, no stopping here in the land of Joyce. And yeah, that was cool. But I do have a story on that one. I did have to do, I think, 20 jump over burpees of the dumbbell before doing the lunges.
Mhm.
And I got no rep on one of them. And I have video evidence. I should send it to Hillary. Video
Yeah.
evidence that that should not have been a no rep. But you know what? I was like, I'm not going to fight it. But,
The
but
judges
yeah,
are human, because I
they
looked up
are
and they're like, "Oh, we still need judges," and I was like, "No,"
not doing it. I
because
didn't say anything. I was just like, I'll do it.
They also had, like, points of, like, "Oh, we're still looking for female duos and this and this and this," and I was like, "Didn't
Mm,
you have to qualify for these things?"
apparently you did, but
Yeah, but
maybe
they
we
had it,
should do
like,
that.
on Instagram, like, where they were still asking for, like, certain, people to compete.
Chandler Smith's wife was in a duo, and I think she
Yeah.
won it. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, they had their whole Instagram story of, like, their 2 duos and everything, and all the fun people that you, like, just get to meet, like, going off of that, like, how did, like, check-in process go and a athlete briefing? Like, what
Ooh, that was fun. Check-in was the day before. I was able to get there, I think, like 4 p.m. And a lot of athletes show up the day before to like claim a spot. It's kind of like camping. So you have to claim a spot to set up your chairs and your cooler and all that fun stuff. And then they have security guards overnight who are watching, I guess, the area. So people would just leave their stuff the day before. So we went there and kind of set up and everything. And then checked in, got our shirts, heat numbers, everything. And then that same Thursday, they had a debrief. And that's where I ran into Alex Gazan because she was standing there with a girl. And I was going to bug her, but I was like, she's standing there with a little girl. I'm not going to do that. And she was there just like standing and listening to like the briefing. And they had like an MC guy who was hilarious. I forgot who his name was, but he was the person that they used to like demonstrate the workouts as they were announcing them.
Oh, yeah.
And he was hilarious, but he was a good time. And he was the MC throughout the weekend. But yeah, they kind of took like, I think like an hour to just go through all the workouts. And it was cool to just hear everybody be like, oh, or yeah, like some excitement or not excitement for some workouts.
Yeah.
And it was cool. Like not everyone showed up for the debriefing or the briefing, but it was a good solid, at least like 75 people or something. And then I think that's when I saw Danny Spiegel as well, kind of like in the back where the MCs were area, just standing there listening in. And that's when I was like, oh my God, is that Danny Spiegel? And then Joe's like, I don't know. And then I zoomed in. I'm like, dude, that's totally Danny
Yeah, when
Spiegel.
you
And he's
sent
like,
me
oh
that
my God.
picture, I was like, "Oh my god, she's right there."
I know, Cotton too. She's like, I'm so jealous that you're so close to them. And she was there the whole weekend, but I think she was there to support her boyfriend. I believe he was participating in the NCC. And that was like the day I met those two, was on the briefing. I didn't take a picture with Danny until the next day. But Alex Gazan was the one I did miss, and I wish I got a picture with her.
It's so
Um,
hard because, like, you're like, "Okay," I'm also taking, like, their time for, like, listening, warming up,
mhm.
like, being with other people, like, how it's not like they have handlers to be like,
I hate it.
"Okay, that's enough,"
Yeah.
So,
I was like, oh my
it's
God, they're
also
just
respecting.
walking among us. It felt so
Yeah.
like, oh my God. But yeah, I think that's exactly how I felt every single time I went up to them. I was just like, oh my God, they just finished their workout. Like, they're probably exhausted. They're like laying on the grass. Like, let me give them a second. And like, I feel like Joe and I were really good at scoping. Like, I think this is embarrassing, but for Jorge, like, we waited for him to finish the first workout on Friday, which was a thruster workout. And we were just like literally walking behind him until he walked at least maybe like a quarter of a mile. And we're like, okay, he's cooled down now, right?
Yeah.
And then once he parted ways from like another athlete he was talking to, I'm like, this is our chance. And like we went up to him and he was super nice and just like, yeah, of course, I don't mind. I didn't ask because I was obviously hyperventilating. And I was like, Joe, you have to do this. I can't. And he's like, for real? And I was like, I cannot do it, please. And he's like, okay. And he was just like, hey, I have your biggest fan here. And I was like, oh my God, like screaming on the inside. I couldn't do it. And I
Yeah.
was just like, no, 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 my name is Joyce. And he was so sweet, and we took a picture, and it was great. But yeah, I'm awful when it comes to, and I know it's like for people probably that's just like, it's not a big deal. Like my mom always said that when I was growing up. She's like, I don't know why you like celebrities so much. I'm like, because we're like, we
Yeah.
see them through a screen for so many days on end, and then you see them in real life, and it's kind of like, wow, you do great
Yeah.
things, man. Danny Spiegel, too, I was just like so impressive. And then Pat Bellner was another one that I was just like, dude, he's right there. He did have an entourage, though. He did have someone filming him the whole time.
I was gonna say, and then there's, like, some that have that, or they're, like,
Yeah.
picked to be watched that, or they have something for an episode or things like that, to where I'm just like, Joe sent me that picture before you, and I was like, "I am beyond jealous and envious and so green right now, yet so happy that you've met him,"
I was like,
and
you have to send it to Blake.
yeah, I was like, thank
I
you,
know. I
Joe."
was thinking that the whole time. I was like, if she was here, she would totally have gotten a picture. Like, oh my God.
I'm like, "Joe,
And
I can't
then,
do it, you have to do it now for me too."
I know, like, what a trooper, Joe. I'm like, I'm telling you, he would have too. Would have been like, oh, can she take a picture with you too? And he would have been so nice and done it. Like, he didn't mind. But yeah, it was really cool. I think partly because you get to meet all of the people that you kind of admire in the CrossFit community. And I know there were more that I just wasn't very knowledgeable about. Because one of Joe's friends was like, oh, that's so and so, and that's so and so, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't know all of them, but there was definitely more there. It was cool to like while I wasn't performing or I guess doing my workouts, like I could see the elite do their thing or watch the intermediate or RX people do it, and you're kind of
Mhm.
like, oh man, that's so impressive. And they have age groups, adaptive also, so they had a lot of different opportunities, and it was awesome. I would definitely recommend it. And Blake, you have to go at least at some point. Like try one of those events. It's
I
really cool.
know. I get so, like, FOMO with, like, CrossFit or, like, competitions or things like that to where I'm
Me
like,
too.
this seems so hard and so cool that I wanna try it, because I feel
Right.
like as I've gotten older, I'm like, "Okay, I do wanna try hard things," and I even though I'm gonna complain about it and do all this stuff, I really do wanna try it, and I do love it. Um,
Mhm.
just seeing you there was a point when I, like, turned to my husband, Chris, and I was like, "How psycho would it be that I'm just looking up quick, like, trying to get a red eye to just see her for, like, 4 hours to just check in with her and just go and say hi and then cheer her on and then come back home." And he was like, "Absolutely not. That is completely psycho, and she has Joe. She's gonna be fine." And I was
Aw.
like, "Yeah, but
I
I
did
feel
miss
like
you
she
though.
needs, like, all of us there." And I
That's so
felt like a
sweet.
bad friend because I wasn't there. I was just
No.
like,
Girl, no. Like I said, I know you totally orchestrated the whole message and everything with the gym, and that made my day. Like that was awesome. And I think Coach Dave reached out to me like separately too. Like there was other people that just reached out to like wish me luck, and like Cameron was another one that came to mind,
Mhm.
and just kind of like sending love. And I was like, that's awesome. Like I love that. So, but I was like, I knew you would have had an awesome time. I think that was the biggest reason why I was kind of like, oh, she's missing out on so much awesomeness out here. Like it's so great. And it was a beautiful venue. It was green. Like it was just a great time in terms of weather and just people that you would have loved it. I think that was the
I
biggest
was
thing.
I was so stressed out just, like, waiting to see what was going on, and that's why the online was making me mad because I was like, "I can't even see where she's on the standing, they're not videoing them, don't know what's going on."
Yeah. I think after day one, I was like 2021 in place out of like 48 girls, I think. And then by the second day, I was able to hold it, I think
Mhm.
2021. And then by day three, I went down, I think by 7. And honestly, again, like I said, by day three, I was like, I just need to survive and finish this
Yeah.
because my knee is really bunk. Like my knee was gone. And I even went to the massage place twice that day because I was just like, you need to put some icy hot on this knee and I need to wrap it up because it's struggling. And I'm still taking care of it this week. Like I said, by day 3, I was just like, "You know what? This was a great, fun experience. I learned so much from it. I know what I need to work on." But also, like, I need to be more nice to my body because I didn't think that those 3 days were gonna kill me as much as they did, even though I felt personally like I was doing really good with the water and and the eating and stuff like that, but
It's
it
still
was so
rough
much fun.
because it's outside and it's just
Yeah, it's hot. There's a lot of people. You're, like,
Mhm.
working out on, like, running on grass and lunging on grass, and you don't know if there's potholes in the freaking running trail.
Yeah.
And then there was some people that were also slipping on the lifts because there was an area of, like, the floor that was a little slippery. So people were, like, slipping a little bit on the catches, and I was like, "Ah!"
Oh, no.
So there was a lot of things going on, man, and like you said, like, the elements, like, it rained the day before the Friday workout, and it was a little moist, and they had to dry things up, and it was interesting, to say the least, but that's part of the fun, that's part of NCC. It's kinda like you said, you gotta take what
Yeah.
comes.
Besides meeting Jorge, what was, like, the single best moment from that entire weekend? Unless that was
Meeting Jorge. Well, of course that was it. No, just kidding. Oh, I think the weightlifting part was a big one for me just because I kinda went into it saying like, "Oh, I don't think I'm gonna make it." Like, this is, like, my worst event, and I just wanna get to the 155, but I can't count on it, and I was able to clean it 2 times, so I was like, that to me was already a win because I was like, I
Yeah.
did not expect that. So that was one of the highlight moments for me. And then also the lunge workout was a pretty cool workout for me because I knew I was going to do well with that. And I told Joe, like, not a lot of girls like lunges. And I feel like people struggle with that a lot. So I'm just going to kill it and go unbroken. And maybe halfway after 100 meters, I'll shake it off and keep going. But I realized that because of my no rep call, I was at least like 4 or 5 seconds behind all the girls who had already started the lunges. And I was just like, man, like, how am
Mhm.
I going to, and I was able to catch up to them, I think, after that. So to me, that felt very like, man, I got something right, so that was a fun moment too. Yeah, I would say those are probably the top two for me. The thruster one was a good one too, just because I did not expect to finish and I had, like I said, a few seconds left before my last 5. And Joe was like, don't put it down. And I'm like, I know I don't have to put it down or I'm not going to make it. And I was struggling for the last few reps, but I felt really good finishing it because it was only a mere seconds, or else I wouldn't have done it. And I was like, oh, that was awful, but I did it. So I guess those were the top 3.
Is that
A
like
workout for each day.
yeah, was that one of the moments where you really had to dig deep mentally, or was there another
Oh yeah,
workout?
girl, it was gross. And I think I had the head judge judging me on that one because I was in the middle of the floor. I think I was like lane 12 or 13, which was like the very middle. And I think she was the one who was kind of like running the middle. So I was like, oh my God, I got the main judge. So I was really worried. So I feel like I was really in my nerves that day. And it was the first workout ever. And I was so exhausted. My arms were gone. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do the ring muscle ups. Or the ring pull ups. I'm like, I'm so fried. Yeah, I would say the thruster workout was the one that I really, really, really had to push the most on out of all the workouts because I got a headache after. And that's what tells me that I actually
Oh,
died.
wow.
Yeah. I was like, ugh, it was awful. And I think Joe had warned me. He's like, day 1 is always the day that they try to like gas you out on your legs. Like they're known for doing that day 1. So I was like, yep, they definitely did that. My legs are gone. By day 2, I was so sore. I was just like, oh man, how am I going to do that lift? So that's the NCC for you. Like, you kind of go into it and you're like, I'm prepared. I got this. And then you're like, oh man, maybe I don't.
I already got bad knees.
Girl, I know, but you could make up a lot in the lift because I felt like a lot of the girls in the skills were not great weightlifters. I feel like they were like a lot of the girls were similar to me where they were really good with cardio. But it was cool because I think you start noticing heat after heat because you get the same girls in each heat usually,
Yeah.
unless you kind of move up or down, you get the first heat versus the second. I think there was only 2 heats for scaled. So you get to know the girls in your heat. And I think there was this girl eventually who was like, I'm trying to beat you. And I was just like, okay.
That would be me. I'd be like,
I was like, sounds
"Hi, I
good.
know your name now, and I know it's
And I want
you,
to beat
and
you.
you are the one I'm just trying to get ahead of. That's me."
Yeah.
But I
So
don't
yeah, there
usually
was a
go up
Blake
to
there.
somebody. I'm usually like, "Hi, how are you? How'd you learn it?" Like, try to be nice and learn why they
Right.
do it, or if they're a nice person, I'd be like, "Okay." And then my
Well,
brain, I'm like, "That's the person that I'm trying to get ahead of."
to stay with. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was great in that sense because we were kind of competing with and I think she ended up like I found out she was a ex-member of like Joe's gym and their posse. So I was like, okay, so she's not just a random person, like we kind of know her. But she was like, no, I see you and you're doing a really good job. And we're kind of at, she's like, you're just a person I kind of want to go off of. And I was like, if it helps you, girl, then go for it. So for a while we were kind of like competing with each other there. And then like I said, I saw other people who would do great at certain areas and I was like, okay, that girl's definitely gonna beat me on this part, but maybe I might outbeat her on this part. So I got to learn other people's weaknesses, which again was kind of like methodical because you kind of have to think about those things now as an individual. Like, okay, if they're good at this, that's where I'm gonna have to kind of ramp it up. So I feel like as an individual, that's a lot of what you have to do when you compete, I realized, compared to as a team, like I had to be more aware of other people and their weaknesses and how I was going to do relative to that. So it was interesting. It really did feel like a chess game when it
It
comes down
is,
to it.
like, different because I feel like some people, when they're in a duo, they just worry about themselves
Yeah.
compared to, like, the person who's resting. Sometimes that part of that duo is looking around and being like, "Alright, so where are those people at? Okay, where are we at?" And
And
doing
I have to
that.
tell my partner, like, they're 3 ahead of us, or like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because we still, like everybody who does, like, CrossFit competitions, like, in-house or these smaller ones are just like, 3 or 4 workouts in one day, and you get
Mm-hmm.
so in your I'm just working with this person and we're just doing this and we just need to go as fast because maybe we'll beat our next person to where
Mm-hmm.
now when you look at it, okay, I have to do that. So when you're individually doing it, it is harder. And I feel like in a duo, if you have that person who's resting to be like, okay, now I can tell them where we're at, and then I'll do work, and they like look around to know where we're at and stuff like that. Individually,
True.
so it's you and your coach, like, or
Mm-hmm.
like you and your, I feel like the open, like the last workout for the open that I did, and I had Jason, and Jason was like, okay, now slow down on this. Okay, now do this. Like listening to that when you're an individual,
It's true.
you have to have somebody who's seeing or who has your
What's
back and
going
is
on?
seeing the crowd. And it's a hard thing to do unless you're just having fun and just working out, which is fine.
Uh-huh.
Like if that's what you take this experience as, or you start to grow this way, like looking at it through those lenses. How
Right.
am I going to get better if I'm doing it individually or with a duo? These are my expectations of myself or of my partner. And this is where I plan. We always have expectations. Sometimes, Joyce's amazing at shooting for the moon to where I'm a realist of being like, okay, there's 10, we're fourth right now, so we're at least gonna get top 5, to where she's like, no, we're first.
At least top 3. Come
Yeah,
on.
and where I'm like, okay,
Podium.
this is where we're at, and those were those people at. We can do our best to get there, but we should be happy if this is our ending goal, because we're not last and we're not
Number
bottom
1.
5. To
No, I'm
where
just kidding.
I calculate like, okay, she runs a mile in 4 minutes. Blake runs a mile in 6 minutes. There's no way I'm gonna be running even a 4-minute mile. Sorry, guys. Like, I know my brain. There's
There's no
no
way.
way that I'm going to get faster than that 4-minute person running.
No.
So, where else can I get my numbers? Or do I just fight to get as close as I can to that person?
That's so true.
Because
Yeah, that's a good point.
you can't be like, she lifts 200. Mine is 170. I'm going to beat her. I'm going to try. She might have a bad day, and I
I'll be
might
like,
have
whoops,
a
a
kick-ass day.
banana,
Yeah, a
a
banana.
banana peel. No,
You
just
know?
kidding.
Or, like, slippery bars and
I would
grips,
never do
like,
that.
different grips to be like, oh, that girl, like,
It's
backstage,
true.
like, hooked onto 15 toes to bar, and all of a sudden she's slipping. Like, you can look at it that way to where, and calculative just sounds very like a villain, but being
Uh-huh.
around, and that's why I feel like individually you have to have that person who's like, okay, you need to, like how you said, Joe said, you need to hold on, or do not do this, or keep
Right.
going, do not let it down. And I know our body tends to go out, but like having our mind hearing somebody say, don't do it, she's not doing it, you got to do it, you have to have that. And sometimes
Yep.
in a duo you can have it. It just depends on how you want to compete, and what your experience is, if this is your first time or your 10th time. What do you want out of it? And a lot of people could be like, well, from this standpoint, you got to go in there and be serious and do all this stuff, and you're going to beat everybody, to where I'm like, okay, but what is your expectation out of this?
Right.
And you have
That's so
to
true.
compete at your expectation. Like, my expectation for myself is always to try. I'm always going to try. And a lot of people can say, oh, that's very lazy. That means you're going to give up. In my book, it doesn't. It means that I'm always going to try to be my best in that event.
Uh-huh.
And look around and be like, I'm gonna try to beat her. I'm gonna try to beat them. I'm gonna, like, that's my try. My try is never like, I'm just gonna try my best. No, I believe in myself. I also believe everybody else has set themselves up the same way too, as they want to beat everybody.
Right.
So my thing is, I'm gonna try to beat you.
Yep. That's a girl. That a girl. But yeah. It was fun, and I feel like you said, it's very difficult as an individual to kind of gauge where other people are at, because I was just so focused to like, what do I do next? For how long? Like, and I realized that in those events, like, you don't really have a lot of help from the judges in terms of like how many reps you have to do. I realized, like, you have to be on top of that on your own. So I had to like memorize the workouts before I went out there. And there was one workout that in particular was just so many steps and parts that I was like, how long do I have to bear work? How many reps am I supposed to do? Like, it was just hard to keep track of.
They wouldn't
And the
like
judges,
tell you,
they do the
like,
count.
Yeah.
But I remember multiple times I asked different judges, like, "How many do I have left?" Nothing.
Oh,
And I was
yeah,
just
because 'cause
like,
we're not gonna tell you how many you have left. I mean, in other things, we can, but in
mhm.
those things, like, their pamphlet says, like, "You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't." It's like a form of cheering.
Right. So I was just like, okay, they're not answering my question. Just keep going until I see the hand go up. So I, there was a lot of like, I needed to be on top of that before I even went on the floor. I
Yeah, because
noticed,
like,
at
we
least.
count every rep for you guys, like, when I
You do,
judge, and I
yeah.
know the judges out there, I don't think they do, they just do their hand
They're so
placement.
serious.
And you can't
Yeah.
really be like, "Hey, I need you to count every rep." They're not like they have rules that they have to maintain, and I think that's another reason why I'm like, I'm okay not doing that because I get so used to counting every rep for you guys,
Hmm.
even the ones that I'm like, no, no rep." Like, you can't, I
Yeah.
don't know. That
It was
see, that's
interesting.
also like a thing that would get into my brain to be like, "Are you gonna at least tell me go?" Like, "Good, go to the next thing," because I don't
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm not wearing glasses. I can't see your hand.
Girl, that's a good point because they're very like obviously they have a I think they have a briefing before the event too. So like if you're the next
Mhm.
heat, they had a little tent where they'll be like, okay, you guys are next. You know, these are the rules. Anyone have any questions? You know, and that's when you would ask your questions and all the girls would kind of huddle and, you know, discuss. And then you'd go out there and then they give you maybe like 30 seconds to a minute max to like meet your judge, ask them questions, show you where the lines or whatever are, but it was all so fast and quick, like, it was one heat after the other. So you had to be,
Yeah.
again, like, on your stuff by the time you were there and get all your questions ready, and then they'd be like they'll, like, "Get to the rig, like, measure your, like" because I needed boxes to level up a little bit to the bar. So they'd be like, "Get that done within the next minute, like, this isn't the time to practice your toes to bar, like, just check your size and go." And I was like, "Oh." So it was, like, very quick paced, I noticed, compared to with us where you have some time to measure and check and, like,
Yeah.
do your thing, like, it was go, go, go. So that was kind of interesting and different also, I would say. And then you get to kind of stand there while the previous heat is like finishing or doing their workout. So I was kind of trying to pay attention, like, okay, what are they doing? How many reps?
Yeah.
What's a no rep? Like, okay. And then you just see how dead they are by the time they walk out and you're like, okay, here we go. So it was a lot of that too, which I
I have
again was
so many questions, I barely can pay attention into the High Rocks class, what's going on.
girl, well, that's why they have a briefing. I'd be like, she has to go in the front.
Yeah.
She has to go in the front.
She's gonna ask you in the middle of the workout why she can't keep going.
She was like, "What did he say?"
I'm like,
Oh my
5,
god.
right? You said 5. Did I do 5?
Girl, it was rough. It was
What does
hard.
this
It was
mean?
hard. How many fingers, my
Yeah,
lord?
I'm like, I
Oh
didn't go to the
man.
eye doctor. I can't wear my contacts outside. They dry out. I can't wear my glasses because they fall off. So I really need you to tell me what I'm doing.
They're like, "Ma'am, wrong lane, wrong lane." It was, yeah, it was intense in that sense, but I feel like everyone was very professional. It was a very organized event. All
Oh,
of the girls that
good.
were there were obviously the best of the best, and they're very good at what they do. So when I went in there, I was like, scaled was definitely my where I had to be, like, because I saw intermediate and like RX, and I was just like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it was impressive to just see like the range of, I guess, expertise in the CrossFit craft. Yeah, it was fun. It felt like I told like everyone that I met, I'm like, it's like a Coachella or it's like of CrossFit. It felt like a Coachella of CrossFit. Pretty similar to like a 3-day festival where you just do
Yeah.
workouts and you see kind of celebrities like in their habitat and they have all this cool food and like free stuff and
Yeah, I saw that
cute
they even did
clothes.
like singles, like scan here first.
Girl,
I
yes.
was
That
like,
was
what?
interesting.
They really, and then they put it up there because I just saw they keep advertising that. And so it's on
Mhm. Feed.
yeah, my Instagram feed. And I was like, well, you know what? That's actually a really
It's
cool
pretty
thing for
cool.
people who like are kind of like minded in working out
Mhm.
and doing
I love that.
that in a new way, like a speed dating, I guess, but you're at this event.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, that's a little different, but more power to people doing that.
I know people signed up for sure. Cause someone in our group was on it, and I was like, "Oh, get it, girl."
Yeah.
I was
All
like,
right.
but I thought it
Meet
was a
me at
really
the
cool idea
rig.
too. Yeah. I was like, "That's nice." You know, they could buy each other a smoothie or something. Like, I don't know,
Yeah, you
but
can figure out what you
watch an
like, what you
event.
don't, and, like, they're into something that's similar to what you like.
Exactly. So I thought it was a really cool concept when I did see that. That was a good call out. But yeah, they had a lot of little things like that I was like, okay, look at them like offer all these cool free services and things like that. Like I didn't expect like a massage therapist on site. They had those, what is it, those muscle or those tightening boots, I guess, that are
Oh,
good for like
yeah.
muscle recovery. So they had that. You could sit down and have that. They had like vitamin injections. They had like a jump rope clinic for double unders. And they had like, I think, tier there with like shoes and stuff to sell. And then they also had RX jump ropes there with a little pad where you could practice your jump ropes.
Yeah,
And they
because
were
I saw
selling like jump ropes.
the main guy was there helping out there and stuff, so
Yeah, it
it
was
wa
pretty cool.
it seemed really cool. Going back for all this, for this whole experience, what would you do differently?
It's a great
Reminded me
question.
of Kronk.
Oh, I know. I was like, oh, I love that. That
Sorry.
makes me want to watch it after this. I'm like, I want to watch it now. I don't know. I feel like I probably could have slept a little bit more. I feel like the recovery part I did not do very well because I would be like, okay, I'm done with the workout. I'm going to wait like 2-3 hours before I start stretching again. Like I probably should have stretched after the events. Like I wasn't very diligent on that. I was just like, okay, let's get food and, walk around and things like that. So I should have done better a little bit with that, I would say. And that probably would have helped with my knee, probably. Other than that, I feel like I kind of was prepared for the heat, but kind of not really in terms of like I could have hydrated more. Like I definitely was not drinking what I usually drink on a day-to-day here at the event. But I was drinking a lot of electrolytes for
That's
sure.
good.
I was like I just don't know if it was like I feel like it could have always been enough. Like I could have been more for sure. Knowing myself, like I drink more water than I did there. So that was a thing. And sunscreen wise, I could have done better on that too. But I guess in terms of working out wise, I guess like you said, being prepared for the unexpected, like when I got to that rig and it was a slippery toaster bar, I was just like, what am I going to do? And I had to kind of like think quickly and be like, am I going to do this with grips, without grips? Am I going to switch to singles? So just being more prepared in terms of having a backup plan, I think I could have done a little bit
Flexible?
better with. Yeah, being more flexible with things like that. That was another thing that I was like, I need to work on that. And then, yeah, my lifting was another one. Like the jerks is something that I could have prepared a little bit more for. I think for a while I was like, why am I not jerking? I think I was just so in my head that I was like, I just need to get it over my head. And why am I not split jerking? Like I've done split jerks before, but I was so lost in the game. I was like, I don't know why I didn't split jerk. I was like,
I know what I'm doing.
I don't
What's
know why
my
I didn't
name?
do it. So I was just like, that was another thing that I was like, I should have worked better on those. Those are probably the biggest things.
My brain is not working.
Girl, I know. The lift was the second event that day too, so I was just like, my legs
I'm
are already fried.
dead.
I was already
Yep.
sore from day one, and then we had already done like an event, and I was just like, ugh, now I have a heavy lift, like a max out lift that I've never done before. Like, I don't like, Lord help me, like just make it happen. So yeah, that was one of the harder workouts too. But I was still surprised that I did okay considering.
She still does the
Considering
same thing. I just did okay. I just did okay. What
I
was
wanted to
for
get it
every workout,
overhead
your
so bad.
expectation was for you to do what? You PR'd a
I
lift.
did.
You PR'd 15 pounds heavier. You did it twice. So your expectation was what? A 30-pound PR would have been better?
Well, honestly, I just wanted to get it overhead because a lot of the girls in my division couldn't do the 155. So I was like, if I get this, that's going to move me up the leaderboard significantly. Because again, I felt like my girls were not very good at the weightlifting part
Mm-hmm.
and they couldn't clean the 155. So I was like, oh my God, I at least cleaned it. But I'm like, I just need to get it over my head. And I was like, that could have been a good event in terms of putting me up the board. So that's why I was so upset. And I think that was the biggest thing because I knew I could do it, but
Yeah.
I missed it. But yeah, I think that was the biggest reason why I was more upset, just because I knew that could have put me in a very good spot if I had that.
All right.
But yes, I'm still proud of the 15-pound PR.
Good.
I was still really impressed. I was like, I did it 2 times.
What would you
Oh.
do the same? What is something that you're like, okay, that did work. I am going to stick
The
with
cute
that.
outfits, girl. No, I'm just kidding.
The what?
The cute outfits I feel were a big hit. I got a lot of compliments from people on the cute outfits and the
You know
glitter.
what? When you have a good hair
was
day
like,
and a
yes,
good outfit day,
girl.
it helps.
And the glitter, they're like, "I love your fit. I love the hair. I love the glitter." I was like, "Thank you. Thank you." So definitely like celebrate it, make it a thing, like dress yourself up, like be excited about it. So I felt like that was a big part of, I guess, performing for me is like how I presented myself.
Mhm.
So I really like that. I feel like it's super fun. I think another thing I will continue to do again is just to identify those weak points or those areas that I felt needed work. And again, I already knew what those were going into the competition. So I feel like continuing to preemptively prepare for those weak areas and working on them are the big things. And then just making friends and finding your competition within the group was super helpful. I feel like once I started targeting girls where I'm like, she's good, she's good. I got to keep my eye on her, like that help, like that's how I work. That's how my brain
Yeah,
works
that's how you
best.
do it in class, and you gotta
Mhm.
stick with that. Like, if
Yep.
that's what feeds your fire and it's a
Your push.
healthy feed, yeah, do it. If it's becoming toxic and then you're now looking down at yourself to girls that you don't even know who are out there having a good time, you
Mhm.
can't do it. But if that's, like, what your push is, you gotta know what your push is, especially if you're individually doing it.
Right.
People can cheer for you all day, but you have to push yourself when you're an individual.
So I felt
But
like that was super helpful is finding that one person that you really feel you can, keep up with and making that kind of like a point of,
Mhm.
competition for you. But it was helpful for me at least. So I'll keep doing that. That's a way that my brain works best, I would say.
Good, good. So, would it be safe to say NC
NCC 2027. Yes, I did tell people at the gym, like, it'd be cool if we had more people participate, like,
would
of
be
course, people who would want to, but I feel like a lot of people just didn't know about it. There's not a lot of, I feel like advertising for it unless you're, like, more in the West, but I
or,
was
like,
like
you really follow competition, like Competition Corner or
right.
anything like that, if you really follow it. A lot of gyms don't, like, the
Mhm.
Separately Skilled members don't because we're there to work out, we're there to compete against ourselves, like, our whole thing about don't worry about somebody else, worry about yourself and all that stuff, so we don't really do
That's
that,
true.
but I feel like it would be good. I think the only deterrent thing would be, like, people would qualify and be like, "Now I have to pay how much again?"
Yeah. It is pretty
But to
pricey.
even try to qualify because that would be a good goal step to do, just
Mhm.
do the qualifying NCC to just see where you're at and what to do. But then it's
True.
also you have to video things and
It's a lot of work, yeah.
asking for that. It's a lot of work, but I feel like if
It's
you
worth
want it
it.
done, you should at least try it.
Mhm. It's definitely a unique experience, and it's kinda like a good glimpse of, like, what the elite experience at least I felt like obviously I wasn't elite, but I felt like, "Oh my god, I'm kinda competing in the games," like, a kind of a mini equivalent of what the games would feel like in terms
Yeah,
of the
you had to
energy and the
do, like,
people.
other things to get here.
Yeah, so it was really fun. So I would definitely encourage it to people who wanna just put themselves out of their comfort zone and try something a little, like, next level when it comes to CrossFit. And even if you don't think you're skilled, they have, like, a novice division, they have things that are
Yeah.
definitely, great opportunities for people who might not really think they're ready for something like that. They had teens, they had there's just so many opportunities to try something. But yeah, hopefully people will maybe save up for something like that. I think it's definitely worth doing if you're a big CrossFit lover and advocate and, want to try something new and different. And you'll definitely be pushed. You'll definitely be asked to like go beyond what you think you can do. But I feel like you leave feeling very accomplished and also just
Mhm.
very surprised of what you can do. And then it's a good opportunity to meet CrossFit like people that you admire and really look up to. I felt like I got a lot of exposure to that, which was really fun. And all the extra freebies didn't hurt either. I kind of did like getting a lot of free stuff. So there's that. But it is kinda like a camping experience, so I would advise, like, be prepared to wait, like, hours in between workouts. That was the one thing that I was like, "I gotta wait 4 hours until my next workout, like, should I go back to the Airbnb or just hang out?" And, I mean, you're outside in the sun, like, it can get really exhausting, so I
Mhm.
felt like that part of the experience was a little hard, but other than that, I felt like it was a lot of fun. For people like us who it's something you would really enjoy, for sure.
The
Next year,
experience.
Blake, gotta do it.
I know, maybe. It sounds
You
fun.
would
It
kill
sounds
the scale
something that
division.
I haven't ever done, so
Ah.
it's exciting.
Get
I'm
an
doing things that
Airbnb.
I haven't tried before, but there's also some trips I'm planning for next year, so I
That's
don't
true.
Every time I'm
That's
like, "That
true.
sounds really fun." Wait, you're trying to plan for something, and if you keep taking money out of that planning, you're
I
never gonna
know.
go to something
There's
that you
just so
wanna do.
many CrossFit events. Well, you're going to the games this year, so there's
I
that.
know, I'm excited to volunteer there and do all that stuff, but
And I'm excited to watch Dee Dee.
so I have some rapid fire
Oh man, let's do it.
questions.
Oh
What
man.
was your favorite workout?
The lunge workout, which was, I think, was it the last workout? I think it was the last workout.
No, you said it was day 3. Was that the one with
Yeah, it
the
was day
toes to
3.
bar, or was the toes to bar the
Girl,
second or the
I was
first of
like,
that day?
of course the toaster bar wasn't it. No, I was just kidding. It was called lopsided. And it was 4 time, and you had a time cap of 7 minutes. So it was a full on sprint. And it was 20
Ooh.
burpees over the dumbbell. And then you did a 100-meter like dumbbell walking lunge. We would do like a goblet lunge with I think it was a 35-pound. And then after you did, I think 100 meters, you would do another 100 meters back and then 30 alternating dumbbell hang snatches.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That
So
one sounds like fun.
it
For
was a full
7
on sprint.
minutes.
Yeah, 7 minutes or less.
You just dive
So
for 7 minutes, that's all you gotta tell yourself. I'm literally gonna
exactly.
dive for 7 minutes or less.
Yeah. And that's it. And I think a lot of the girls finished way before like 6 minutes. So it was a fast one. And I was like, this is a good one for me. I just need to freaking go all out. And it was a really good one for me. So that was my favorite one. And I love lunges. And I know not a lot of people share that sentiment. So it was a lot of lunges.
What was
I wasn't mad.
your least favorite workout? Was it the thrusters?
Yes, the
I
thrusters
was
was
like,
the
you talked
worst.
so highly about the lunges this whole episode and so down about the thruster one. I was like,
Yeah, it
I
was
think
awful. I think it's called quad trio. Oh no,
Mhm.
it was a 15-minute cap. It was a 15-minute cap. The weight was 65. And it was just awful. It was, I think, hold on. Was it that one?
I know,
No, it
didn't
was
you have
called,
7 ring pull-ups?
wait, this isn't right. Was it 7 ring pull-ups?
Oh,
It
'cause
was
novice
5.
I think novice was 5. Well, it said or then was RX the ring muscle ups, then intermediate was
Yes.
7, and then scaled was 5, and then novice was
Mm-hmm.
what, ring rows?
I think it was. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? No, it was 3 ring pull-ups for novice, 5 ring pull-ups for scaled, and then 7 ring pull-ups for intermediate, and then RX was ring muscle ups. That's crazy. But yeah, that one was, I guess, 5 ring muscle up of 5 ring pull-ups for me, 40 thrusters, then another 5 pull-ups, and then 30, and then you work your way down to 20 and 10. And we did have a time cap of 12 minutes.
Yeah, I
That
was
would
like,
hurt so
that
much.
one's gonna be really rough.
And then it's like, how do you break it up?
You're gonna
Should I
fry out
break up
your
my
legs and your
pull-ups?
shoulders.
Girl, yes, my forearms were on fire. I was like, I think by the last round of like ring pull-ups, I was like, how am I gonna do this? Like my arms are gone. Like I'm gonna slip off of these rings. And somehow I found the will, girl. Found the will. I was like, just do them. Don't think it's gonna hurt, and just don't even like stop because the pain. So it was rough. That one was the roughest, and you just feel sick. I feel like from all the like thrusters, it's like 100 total. So I was
Yeah.
like, ugh. It just felt awful. It was awful.
What was your best competition snack?
Ooh, I love the acai bowls that they had there.
Yeah.
They had someone, I guess, preparing them, and I had them like 2 days back to back, like after my first workout, because it was just so good. And I had peanut butter, granola. It was banging. I think it had some blueberries too and banana. So it was banging. They had good food. They had
Well,
really good
that's
food there.
good. What was
They
your
had some
most
oven baked pizza.
exhausting moment?
My most exhausting was probably after the thrusters. Because like I told you, I had a headache after that. I was like if I get headaches, that means like I worked really hard.
Yeah, because
Or
I was like,
my
I'm
brain
usually
was
the
going
one who
hard.
always had a headache whenever we go to other gyms. I'd be like, "Do you have your Excedrin?"
Excedrin. So I
Yeah,
carry it with me
I
everywhere.
got it all the time, and I was like, "I always have headaches after these things."
Yeah, girl. So after that, I was like, I needed an Excedrin or two. So that was when I felt my absolute most trashed. Hands down.
And then, what is one word to describe NCC?
Ooh, I feel like it was just so exciting all the time. I never knew who I was gonna meet. I didn't know which celebrity I was gonna see. I didn't know how well I was gonna do. So I would say it's exciting. I never know what to expect. And also a lot of wins too, so it was exciting in that sense too, of being able to be like, oh man, I actually executed that pretty well. And then just, I guess, all the cool stuff you get to see and do. It was just all really fun. So exciting would probably be the word I'd
Nice.
say.
Is there
Yeah.
anything else that you wanna do?
Not that I can think of, aside from the fact that I saw someone break their arm at the comp. I don't know if I told you that, but somebody had broken their arm live in competition. I was here in line waiting for my massage, and then next to it was like the medical tent. And you just hear this guy go like, "Is someone gonna help me with this?" And you just see his arm flailing. And I was like, and then there was lots of the girls in line who were just like, "Oh my God, oh my God." And I
No.
was just like, and then I guess the story was that homeboy like dove after the lifting. I don't know. I don't think it was a lift. I think it was one of the workouts where he like dove to like the finish line against some other guy. And in the dive, he just like messed up his arm. And I was like, not worth it. And
No.
I think they put him on the table and it literally
They had
snapped
to
it in
set it,
place.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's literally how my daughter well, I don't know if he felt the same way, but, like, how my
Oh,
daughter
he was
felt for
crying.
her, like, she dove, like, she wasn't catching herself, she dove onto her wrist, and they're like, "We might have to
Mm.
set her wrist because a little piece popped out." Well, now she's younger, and they could just set it, like, with the thing, they didn't have to actually when you get older, it's a little bit rougher, and they
Uh,
actually have to do it.
Dude, he was in
Yeah.
so much pain. He was like yelling, and the guy, like, there was at least three people like holding him down, and then someone like ready to like go, and he was like, "Ah." And I was like, dude, it was awful. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is what happens in a real CrossFit event. It was, I was like, this is the real deal. It was nuts, man. It was nuts. But yeah, the thing people do for the sport is
That was
crazy to me.
when I took my mom to my lifting event, like, we went the day before, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, maybe I can check in, all this stuff." Well, anyways, we went in and we found where everybody was sitting and we were watching a lift, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm watching this guy lift and I was like, "No," and he, like, snatched, and then it fell
Ugh,
behind him, and he didn't throw it behind him, so it hit him in the back of the head, the
no.
barbell landed on him, and my mom goes, "Whoa, is that happen?" And I was like, "Well, I've seen it land on people's legs, and I know there's been stories about people breaking bones or elbows or things like that." I was like, "I've never seen it in
Mm.
person, just getting hit in the back of your head."
Ouch.
And he ended up putting it on, I think the meet like the
Ugh.
Instagram story for himself because other people put it on and he just put it on too. He's like,
He was
"Yep,
like
that's
laughing at
me."
it too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, "That's me. Yeah, I did that."
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, when you go into those competitions, you're like, "These things really happen." I mean, it's like life. You always say, "It's not gonna happen to me," and then it happens to somebody.
Yeah, like a lot of the men I think that were doing like the heavy clean and jerk, a lot of them dropped it back too. And I was just like, dude, how and why? Like it was rough. Yeah, like there was moments where I would be like, that's dangerous and scary. So, I mean, the things
Oh
we
my
do.
god.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's
And
crazy.
then
But fun to
yeah.
watch. But
Yeah,
fun to watch.
it's fun to watch when it's a screen, not in person. I'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm never doing this again."
Girl,
Is something different, and I'm just glad that you did it and
I
that you have
know. That's my
plans for
goal.
next year and you're seeing that you're growing. It's not
Yeah.
being
I
upset,
want
but you're
more.
to grow.
I'm hungry. No, just kidding. I'm hungry for more. I don't have anything until High Rocks, I think.
I know
Oh
that
no,
was,
wait,
like, one
Hot
that I was
Shots,
like,
I
"What's your
guess.
next one?" And it's our High Rocks where you're not focusing anything about lifting.
Well, Hot Shots. I mean, Hot Shots is around the corner in August, so I'm doing that for
Yeah,
show.
but
I got to work on
that's
my heavy
more
cleans
of a fundraiser.
and it's strict pull-ups, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I forgot a strict pull-ups, so I need to
yeah.
work on my strict pull-ups. But I'm still gonna do kipping probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, to see that's another thing. It's coming
'Cause it's
up.
another hard workout. Like, you have all the things to do it, it's just what Joycey,
It's a lot of
like
rounds.
yeah, it's what you wanna focus on, right? Like, I focus very heavily on lifting to do lifting, and I know sometimes
Mhm.
you're like, "Girl, just do this." I'll be like, "No, I can't. I gotta do this." And then, like, Dave, like, he focuses on his things for the games, and what we like to do best is like, "Ooh, look at that pretty thing. I wanna do that. Ooh, look at that pretty thing. I wanna do that." I do the same thing
It's
to
true.
where I've had to kinda dial back and be like, "Okay, though, but what are you gotta pick one thing right now."
I want it all.
All
Want it.
the time,
Want
all
it.
the time. We
Want it.
we really do, but I think if you focus on, like, certain things, like, even for next year, like, being like, "Okay, I wanna get heavier lift," then you gotta focus on lifting for that one,
Mhm.
or lifting and partially running. You, like, can't kinda do them at both because it tires your legs, or you
Yeah.
can you gotta do, like,
Gotta
a
pick a
happy
lane.
medium. Yeah, and do, like, a short long term, like, "Okay, for 2 months, I'm focusing on this," or, "For 3 months, I'm focusing on this, for the other 3 months, I'm focusing on
Mm,
that."
that's smart. I should hire you. I
Why?
was like,
I'm
"That's so
your
smart."
friend. I tell you this advice
That's
for
true, for
free.
free. That is so true. Facts, facts, in exchange for childcare. Oh, but that would be a good idea. Alright, I have things running in my head now. I'm like,
Yeah,
it makes
just
sense, maybe, yeah, it
yeah,
makes sense.
like, now you can't do, like, the month to month. Now, okay, if and I wouldn't pick, like, 5 things. That's gonna be a lot. Just pick,
Yeah.
like, your 2 weakest
Split jerk.
things.
Yeah, probably it's my split jerk.
And that's hard. That's a
Yeah,
very
it's
hard
awful.
thing to
I
conquer.
know. It's so
So
true. But
but
I got the best. I
you could
got the
do it the
best.
CrossFit way.
The CrossFit way.
Yeah, you can still press out. You can land in a split and press out
Oh,
your
that's
lift,
true. That's a good point. That's a good way to start, actually.
but we can work on things.
We got some goals, girl. We got some goals. So that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Just make
It's
sure you have
gonna
a PVC pipe, and then I'll give you some things that
some
you just do,
pointers.
like, every night. I had one of my coaches was like, I had a broomstick, and I videoed myself and did 10 split jerks every night, and to
Mm.
see where you're at, and to get that muscle memory, and then, like, coming in and just then the bar, because that's what you have to work on timing too.
Yeah.
And then,
I need
like,
to be
what is a
aggressive.
split? So, yeah, there's some things to play around with.
Like Coach Jason said, he's like, you need to be more aggressive with your lifts. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. You gotta sometimes though, I'm like, I am aggressive. I'm just not like a mean aggressive with my lift. Because when I get mean, then I'm just like, I'm gonna be so upset with myself that I'm already pissed, and I'm gonna be even more
Mm,
pissed I didn't make this lift.
that's true.
Compared to if I'm like, I know I can do this, that aggression, but I'm just like,
You're like, I'm just trying to
the sun's
survive.
coming in. All right. So competition can be intimidating, but they also are one of the best ways to learn about yourself. And I think Joyce can agree with that, that she learned a lot about herself and
Facts.
a lot what she has planned for the following year. So you don't have to win to walk away with success. You show up, put yourself out there, and see what you're capable of. So remember that because you did the dang thing.
I
You
did do the
did it.
damn thing. Yes, I
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
But a huge congratulations to you, girl, for taking
Aw,
on
thank
NCC
you.
and representing the not only herself, but our community too, Cayman CrossFit. We
That's
were
right.
all so proud of you for doing
I
it.
know. You guys were so sweet.
So
Thank you to everyone who
it
sent
was
some good
so
vibes.
exciting. And then when people would ask, I was like, oh my God, yes, she's my friend. Yes, she's doing amazing.
I know she's out there doing her thing.
But I was just so excited and proud. Proud to be
Aw.
your friend and be like,
Yeah,
yeah.
like,
I
no,
know
that's
her.
sweet.
She's doing it.
She's like, "That's my friend."
Yep.
I know. I feel like it was more just like, I wish you were there because I knew you would have had an amazing time. Like the whole time, I was like, "Oh my God, Blake would have loved that." But yeah, I was just like, I think it made me more excited to just make sure that more people would come next year, including you. So
I think we'll have to
definitely,
hype it up next year or even just
we
get
do.
people to qualify and be like, "Okay, we're gonna be here if you wanna try this thing out, and, like, you can help me with videos or things like that." Like, we can help
Right.
people out and do that, and I know that people are like, "Well, that's asking a lot," but that's also something that I get excited to help better people in, like, their CrossFit journey, and I know you do too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It'll be so
yeah.
much fun. If this podcast is this week, what? Oh, if this podcast is your swig of pre-workout, right?
Thank you, JC. Please remember to hit that follow button, give us those 5 stars, leave us a review. And by hitting that follow button, you will not miss an episode of this and finding out what our new exciting next episode is about or what we're doing. Our next goal one is coming up as well. So again, hit that follow, subscribe, and give us those 5 if you have an episode that you want us to deep dive in, a topic that you're like, oh, I don't know, is this correct at the gym? Or is this how we do? We've done gym etiquette, all kinds of things. But if you have a topic for us to deep dive into a little bit deeper, kind of like, did you hear about the new CEO that actually is signing in? Please leave us a DM at Savagely Scaled on Instagram, or you can email us at savagelyscaled, the number 1 at gmail.com as well. Or if you're an affiliate owner or go to the best affiliate, we're still looking for affiliates to go visit and interview the owners. Also do a quick little interview with the members as well. Try out their gym and really get to know how you're bringing a little piece of you to this big CrossFit community.
That's right.
And remember, don't be a Karen.
Be a Sharon.
And keep sharing. Share this episode for anybody who's looking forward to like maybe trying NCC next year, or what a big competition for CrossFit is. Because it was a finals or regionals, whatever they call it nowadays. And people did qualify to go to the games. So it is a big thing. So share with that person who's like, I don't know if I want to do a competition. What is the NCC? What are these that we can qualify for? But nope, I already did that. And until
we meet
at the whiteboard again.
Whiteboard again.
Bye.
Oh my God.